What's up, everyone? It is your girl, Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and it's time for my eyeshadow palette collection video. So every year, like as soon as like the new year hits, I want to say like maybe like February or March, one person always comes and asks me for my eyeshadow palette collection video. So I finally decided to get around to like at least filming the intro to it, because I'm the type of person who always get new eyeshadow palettes in to review for y'all. I've been trying to cut down on that this year though, because I'm trying to like, you know, make us all use what's already in our collection like I said I was going to do in 2022, and it didn't work out that well. And I'm still buying stuff for my whole thing, because I try to bring back old stuff too, not just buy all new stuff all the time and not us use any of the old stuff. If y'all haven't noticed, I've been doing series where we like use older things, so I figured now is a good time as any for me to go through my eyeshadow palette collection, at least here at my grandmother's house, because I don't usually leave a whole bunch of stuff over here. I usually leave it at home. So this will probably be the intro to like her eyeshadow palette collection video, and I'm gonna have two here just because I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes here just like I do at home, but home it's even worse. Like that's like a whole 5-part series of its own. That child. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video and looking at my eyeshadow palette collection. You can comment down below and tell me if there's any palettes you're interested in me doing a palettes that inspire me video on, or my top 10 palettes from brand video, or I have one that I'm gonna call palettes from the past, where I'm gonna pull out older palettes from the past and just like, you know, reminisce on what inspired me to buy that palette, and you know, talk about the color story, if I still love it the way I did before, or if I'm just keeping it for reference purposes, because sometimes I do keep palettes just for that purpose, because I do review a lot of things that I try to give y'all alternatives to stuff that you already have in your collection that you might have bought from the past, as opposed to doing that. So that's why I have so many eyeshadow palettes. Not necessarily I love every single eyeshadow palette I have, like it's just sometimes I talk about a brand a lot and I need to keep it for review or things of that nature. So I figure I jump into that now, so that when I start pulling out palettes and just showing them, I don't have to give this type of disclaimer and all that. Oh yeah, I guess I should give the disclaimer like everyone else. I'm not trying to brag about it, because I actually don't really like filming my eyeshadow palette collection video, but someone asks for it every year, which is why I film it every year. So I'm not trying to brag by any means. Like I would prefer not to film it at all, but they ask and I try to get through as many requests as I get asked for, especially since I'm not a YouTuber who gets a lot of requests. So that's why we're going ahead and doing this. So I'm not trying to brag. I give all this stuff to my cousins. I told y'all in videos how I give it to them. I have like 3 or 4 cousins I give it to, and then I have some co-workers I give it to now. So I'm like, I just be giving out makeup to everybody. Like I'm the Oprah makeup. You get a palette, and you get a palette, and everyone gets a palette. So like people I know get the palettes I have, so you don't have to worry about me giving you used stuff. Every giveaway, y'all, all the stuff you get is new. So yeah. But without further ado, let me get to what you came in for, the palettes. Okay, y'all, so this is my eyeshadow palette collection. We starting off with the drawer I keep a lot of my recreated ColourPop palettes, and that's what I call them. So I figure I'll do the first 3 drawers today, and then I'll do the bottom 3 drawers next week. I'm kind of ready to go home. It's like 3-something in the afternoon. I actually only filmed one eyeshadow video today, along with like a short for you all on the new Fenty mascara. So anyway, let's get into this. So I have, I'm pretty sure, what is this one? The Jasmine Rose. Is this, okay, so this one's Cold Brew from Kaleidos. I don't know what's going on with the brand. They're getting rid of the futurism palettes. I have those in lower shelf down here. There's like 3 shelves underneath here, but this is what it looks like. As y'all can see, it's more on the neutral side, so I kind of just left it here because I was like, if I need a neutral moment that I can grab real quick and do something with, because I'm going somewhere, then I'll keep it here. Then I'm pretty sure this is the Jasmine Rose one. This is the one that's a good dupe for, yeah, this is the one that's a good alternative for the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. But there's also the ColourPop palette as a dupe. I don't have the ColourPop one. I just had the Zendo and this, because I don't really reach for color stories like this that often. Plus, you have to think I have the Subliminal palette. Is that's the name of the very first one from Pat McGrath, #1, that's blue, and that type of color story. So I don't really need that. This is, I forgot what is the name of this. This is the NYX palette. This is Ultimate Utopia. I feel like I really like the color story of this. Sorry. It gives me those grungier vibes, and it's affordable palette from the drugstore that actually didn't cost a whole lot. Now, keep in mind, I bought mine on sale, and then they had like, I'm pretty sure I bought this at Ulta, and then you know you can use their like coupon, and then it's, I think I had 5 times the points or something like that. So it was a good deal for me to get it, and it was, I felt like it was a good alternative to some other things in my collection. So that's why I keep it around. I don't have that many palettes from them, so matter of fact, it's my only palette from them. What I don't like about them is I feel like the palette, their price point of their palettes is like really high, and I'm just like, I can't. So let's get into these 2 palettes I have left over from Bad Habit, who turned into Alter Ego, who hasn't come out with anything forever as far as I know. As far as I know, Alter Ego hasn't come out with anything new. This is the Artistry palette. When I got into makeup, they had just ended the Makeup by Mario and ABH palette, so I didn't get it. So I was elated when they came out with this one because I wanted to try it. I mean, the color story is definitely not my cup of tea, but y'all know that. I'm not crazy about it, but you know, to me it was a piece of makeup history, and it was a great dupe alternative I could show to my followers. So it's just one of those affordable palettes that's like, you know, I'm holding on to. I don't know why though, because it's not even really my color story. I guess because I really liked Bad Habits formula, and I was sad that they were gone. Now I'm holding on to this one because I heard she's getting rid of the Star palette, and I never got to get it. So this is the Bad Habit Divine palette. It's supposed to be a dupe for, obviously, the Star palette. This is what she looks like on the inside. I love the color story of this palette. I mean, theirs isn't set up exactly the way hers is set up. These shades and those shades should be together, and all the cool tones should be on one side. So theirs was like all cool tones on one side, all warm tones on the other side, as far as Natasha Denona's is. And their dupe, obviously, they didn't do the exact same. They don't ever do the exact same, at least with color placement. They do the same, exact same when it comes to color. So this is what it looks like. I'm sad I didn't get the Star palette, and I don't think she sells on her website anymore. And when she does, it's never on sale during the holiday sale, which is why I never end up getting it. Oh wait, I got a couple more of their palettes. Now my Sweet Peach palette lives here because if you all remember my channel, I told you all this is the first high-end palette my grandmother ever bought me, and she's the reason I started doing makeup. So that's why I keep it here, because at her house, and this is why I will never get rid of it. I might get a, like, I was about to say I might get a refresh one, just keep it as a memory just in case I want to use it, but it's like, no, I'll probably just keep this one forever. So this is what it looks like if you haven't seen it. I mean, who hasn't seen it? If you were into makeup when that thing came out and they relaunched and everybody was excited to get their hands on it, then you know. This is the last Bad Habit palette I have. This is the Cult Mania. This is supposed to be a dupe for Pat McGrath's Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction, I believe it is, because I think Bronze Temptation is the smaller one. Don't quote me. I always forget what the name of it is, but this is what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, they tried to dupe that special shade right here. Now their special shades aren't the same as hers, obviously, but it's like, you know, she has way more money than they did. And I noticed once they started duping her palettes that they ended up, you know, having to go out of business. So I'm just saying, maybe don't be duping Mother. Like, maybe just stick to duping Natasha and Huda. Don't be trying to dupe Mother, because when you tried to dupe Mother, what happened? You went out of business. There's this random Morphe sponge. I bought the Jaclyn Hill, like, I think it was a setting powder set, or the brightening set or something, and it came with this sponge. So that's how I have this random sponge here. I mean, it's good for when I don't wash the sponge from the day before and I don't want to, like, use it. I have a Rare Beauty sponge I took out of this drawer too. This is the one I told y'all to invest in if you could catch it on sale, because I actually really like this sponge. Can you focus on the sponge? Yeah. So I really like this sponge. If you see it on 50% off, like I had seen in the past, I think I have like 2 or 3 of them, because I actually really like that sponge. Next, I have my Boston Celtics palette. Now, I think I redid this one already. I think I've just put, if I remember correctly, these are a whole bunch of Sydney Grace shadows that I just put into this palette, because y'all know they sell a lot of singles. But if I remember correctly, that's what these are. The majority of them are that. It might be a couple of ColourPop ones in here, but the majority of this is Sydney Grace. That's why they don't necessarily perfectly fit in the pans perfectly, but they fit close enough, so I just put it together and made that look. I did an eye look with it one day. I don't remember when it was. This is the all amethyst. I switched this around as well. This is what she looks like. I think I just added this purple. Don't quote me though, I don't 100% remember. I did not like the formula of this palette, but I keep it like as a reference palette for all the different purple palettes they come out with. You know, I do 5 brands that dupe themselves, and other videos just highlighting palettes that have similar color stories. So I wanted to have it for alternative purposes, because I think you can still buy it on their website, and I think you can still buy it at Ulta. Don't quote me, but you know, ColourPop gets rid of stuff pretty quickly. So I wanted you to see that if you already have that, you might not have another one, which is another reason I keep it. Next, I have the Mavericks palette. I think I switched this one around as well. Yeah, I switched the shades in this around for sure, because I remember that silver wasn't in here, and I don't think that purple on the bottom was in here either. So I remade this to my liking. I'm pretty sure I've used this since then. Don't quote me, but I'm quite sure I have used it. I try to use them before I bring it back here to my grandmother's house because I like to keep certain things in certain places for certain reasons. And when I recreate palettes, obviously I want to do videos on the palettes I recreated, so that's why a lot of time I'll just leave them here at my grandmother's house. This is the In the Limelight palette. I recreated this one along with the Tinkerbell one, but I like the recreation of the Tinkerbell better along with the formula of the Tinkerbell better, so that's why I didn't have this. This one they discontinued, but people seem to really like it. That's why I was confused as to why they discontinued it, but I was like, you know, whatever. I'm a mind my business because this has nothing to do with me. Sorry, y'all. It's hard to wrap my hands around the camera and open this up. So as you can see, I changed some of the shades in it because these were not all the shades in here. Although the two greens look too similar in my personal liking still. But, you know, I worked with what was in here and just added a couple of things to have a more mauve-y moment. So, like, I added, I think I added this pink and that pink so that way it would have more. I added this pink so it could go with this pink nicely along with this shade right here for the outer V for this look, along with the looks in the other palette. So green and pink vibes are definitely a vibe I like, and I wanted to play up with the pink a little bit more from when I wanted to do a neutral look and have a fun pop of green on the lower lash line. So that's why I added the pink to it. And I think all the pinks I took out of it were from the One and Done palette, I think is what it's called. The cowboy collection thing they had when it was like pinks and browns like they had put together. I just bought that palette honestly to take all the pinks and stuff out of it and put it in different palettes to make it look nicer. Then I have Of Quartz. I redid Of Quartz as well. I wasn't liking the formula on this either. So this collection was a dud for me. I know Angelica said that she had issues with it as well. As you can see, I took some of the shades out of like the NBA palette. That's why it has a little basketball on that matte shade. But I like the colors of this much better. Now this one I feel like I used as well before I brought it over here. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like I did. I like the color story of this better as well because again I can make these nice neutral mauve-ish or cool tone brown moments, and then I can still have a smoky eye as well. So that's what I was going for when I recreated this one. Not necessarily what the packaging gives it a theme of, even though I feel like it has a little bit of brown smoky looks on it to like kind of give the vibe of what I was talking about. I just, you know, prefer it that way. Now we're gonna get into the Sweet Nothings. Now this one I didn't do over. This is just one of my favorite older palettes from ColourPop. It's a nice cool tone purple palette. It came out from a holiday collection that they had at Ulta, I want to say like 2019 or something like that. I just never got rid of it because I love this color story. Like I love these cool purples. They did have a sequin shadow in here that I didn't necessarily like. I think I might have taken that one out and added a shimmer in here to replace it, but otherwise I haven't changed anything about this palette because I just thought it was stunning, and I plan on keeping it in my collection for as long as I can. It hasn't started feeling really gritty and bad to the point where I can't use it anymore. So next I have this in the Springs palette. If y'all remember, I bought this as a dupe to the Frosted Flakes palette to compare, and I ended up changing it around. So as you can see, I took the green out of the Boston Celtics palette and put it in here. I think I added a couple more shades in here too. Like I think I added this green right here because there was a few more browns in here that I wasn't necessarily liking, so I took those out and I added a green so it can go more with the turquoise. So I have like this blue green side that you can use, and then I have this like neutral side for people who like warm tonish type looks, or you can just mix and match them, which is what I do. I did a nice look with this palette and you all seem to like it. I think I had orange on the lid, and I think I had put the blue on the outer V, and then I had put this green on the lower lash line or something to that extent, and you all really liked the look, and I really liked it too. But the formula on this isn't that great. From what I remember, the formula on the Frosted Flakes one was better, but you know, whatever. Next, I have the Pretty Please palette. I redid this one too just because I think there was a sequin shade in here I didn't like, and I wasn't necessarily crazy about the color story. It wasn't super bad though. Like I think I changed this shade Pearly because I think it was like a shimmery white pale shade that y'all know I was talking about I can't ever use, and then I took obviously this royal purple out of another palette and put it in here. I mean, I know it probably doesn't match perfectly, but it gave the look and aesthetic that I wanted the palette to have, so it works for me. Then you got this lighter shimmer for the inner corner, and then you got this more deeper tone taupey-ish type shimmer to go with some of these deeper mattes if you like a neutral type look. So I tried to make it a little more wearable and more to my liking, and it worked out nicely. I have the Troublemaker too, but that one's at my grandmother's house. I mean, that one's at my house. Sorry, we're at my grandmother's house still. So I have Cloud Spun here. It's one shade I want to take out of here in order to make it perfect to my liking. Or did I already take it out of this palette? Because I know there's, yeah, I already took it out of this palette. So there was a sequin shade here I didn't like, so I think I replaced it with this shimmer up here. Don't quote me. I know in the cloud blue one there's still like a glitter in there I want to take out, and I think a sequin shade, but this one I have already fixed, which is why I let it stay here. It's a nice little pink moment, and it's a super shock shadow in there I like, so that's how it got to stay. Then we have the Cherry Crush. It's so funny, my friend was talking so much crap about this palette, and she's like, oh, I don't want that, and blah blah blah. And then she messages me on on Instagram, and she's like, just like a whole clown, I went and bought the Cherry collection after I told you I wasn't going to buy it. And I'm like, huh. So this is what she looks like. I like the 3 little monochromatic rows they have going on in here. If I remember correctly, I didn't change anything in this palette because I didn't have to, but you see how they have this nice little like color selection they have. So it's like a more of a like pinkyish cherry. Then you have a traditional true cherry, and then you have like more of a black cherry type vibe when you want to do a smoky look. So I liked the combination of colors that they did because it wasn't their traditional monochromatic moments that they like to do, so I could appreciate that. Now this Lock It Down palette, I took some of the shades out of another palette because they had 3 little holiday palettes like this at Ulta, and my best friend bought it for me in like 2021 for Christmas, because I had bought her a whole bunch of stuff and she bought me a whole bunch of stuff because we were both working. Like, times have changed now, so we didn't buy each other gifts last year, but I didn't feel bad because I know she was trying to pay off bills, and like she's actually paying her student loans and all that, so I was like, don't worry about getting me anything, we just won't exchange gifts or whatever. It's not that big a deal. But I combined the pink palette with this purple palette, and I just kept the purple packaging because I liked the purple packaging better than the pink. But I'm pretty sure this shade, and this shade came from the other palette I'm talking about, and then the rest of these shades were already in here. But I thought it could make a cute little nice pink purple moment for when I'm in the mood for that, so that's why I combined them and made it look the way it does now. Now we have my Making Mauves palette. I'm pretty sure I redid this one as well. Yeah, I redid this one as well because, as you can see, it doesn't look the way it probably should. I think there were sequin shades in here I didn't like, and I wanted to give this that same kind of pink purple moment, if you will, that I gave the Lock It Down one. But I think I like this one a little bit better than the Lock It Down one. I feel like that one, I don't know, I feel like it's lacking depth or something. Maybe I'll do a palette mashup and combine both of those and make a video about that, so I'll have to put those to the side to put in a palette combination video or favorite palette combinations video. But I like the way this looks to a certain extent, but I feel like there's something missing this one as well. I just haven't found my right singles to add to in order to, you know, make another video or look with it. So that's where it stands now. Next we have That's Taupe. I redid this one as well. As you can see, this is what it looks like. It didn't originally have this black in it. What I did was I took my it was a palette that they had, I forgot the name of it. I know Andrea Montanaro really liked it because it was in the same packaging as Double Entendre, but it wasn't the Double Entendre one, it was another one. Anyway, I took all those shades out of there that were neutral, that would work better for my skin tone, because that's why I liked it, because that one was better for my skin tone. Double Entendre was better for lighter skin tone, so you know, when it came time to cut, that's what they got rid of, which was fine because I already had the one I wanted, and I just switched out the shades I wanted. So I'm pretty sure I took this shade out of there, this shade out of there, and it was one more shade. I know this shade came from another palette from ColourPop as well, but I like the color story of this a whole lot better. It gives me more like the packaging vibes of what was going on than what was in here before, because I feel like it was just a whole bunch of ashy neutral tones, and that necessarily wasn't going to work for my skin tone. Last, I have Little Ray of Sunshine. Again, I took shades out of that same palette I'm talking about and put them in here, along with a couple other palettes. I don't remember the other palettes I took these like more warmish reddish shades from, but I know this gold came from that palette, and I think this brown might have came from that palette I was talking about. But this is what she looks like now. Before, I wasn't necessarily feeling the color story. I think mainly because it was all matte, and I'm not crazy about all matte palettes, but as long as you have a good couple of shimmers, I feel like the palette should work out nicely. And I feel like this has a good couple of shimmers, like this True Gold that matches pretty nicely, and then you can use this as your inner corner shade, or you can periodically switch them out, or you can do an all matte look depending on how you feel, because I did leave quite a few mattes in here still. So some of them are still works in progress because I feel like I did something for them, but it didn't do that great. So I'm gonna have to put those back in a minute. I'm trying to get all these drawers. Now this is the drawer of all the palettes that I have that I'm just holding on to, you know, what do you call it? Let me lower down a little more. That I'm just hold until I find other, because I like the packaging on this, but it's like none of the shades in here are shades I necessarily like or are crazy about. So let me show you. Like, it's just a bunch. Well, sorry, this one I actually do like. I redid this one and I liked it. Like, I like the fact that I added these fun pinks to it, because these pinks and these dark grungy navies I feel like would look really cool. Then you have these topper-esque shimmers that you can put in the inner corner to give some extra pop to the look. So I actually do like this one, but the rest of them, if I remember correctly, they were palettes that I just have in here because I don't have space for them at home, and I want to save them for other palettes I need to put together. So this is the next one. This one I like okay. I don't like the fact that the blue is in here. I feel like the blue throws it off, but I didn't have anywhere else to put it for the time being. So this is what I'm talking about, like my extra just random shadows of that I'm holding on to till I recreate more palettes from ColourPop when I buy more, because we all know I'm going to buy more, just because I like the fact that I get to create my own palette and recreate color stories that they've come up with better to suit people my skin tone, to my liking. So that's another reason I hold on to this. So I have that. The Lakers one I think is a whole bunch of just duds. Oh wait, no, this is Sydney Grace shadows that I just threw in here. So if I remember correctly, the only one that's this is Glaminatrix Cosmetics. That's the only one in here from Glaminatrix. The rest of these are all Sydney Grace. So I had bought their Christmas and July bundles one year of the more colorful shades that they had. So that's what this one is. I had it in an empty magnetic palette, but I just decided to put in this Lakers palette. So that's what's going on with this one. But all of them wouldn't fit in the drawer that I had at the top, so that's why some of them are down here. So next we have the Chicago Bulls. This is an okay palette. I like the color story somewhat. It's not the true color story of the Bulls team, but I like the color story I came up with pretty well. It's pretty nice. I wish I had, like, I don't know, I wish I had a couple more mattes than I had of shimmers, but after I had made the palettes to my liking, other palettes I like the color stories more, I kind of just threw all these in here because it matched the packaging and it looked somewhat aesthetically pleasing. So that's where that one came from. Last we have Golden State Warriors. I think I like this one. Yeah, this one I like that set up pretty nice. I don't think this color necessarily matches with what else goes on with the palette, but otherwise, you know, it's fine. It's cute. I'm trying to remember where I took this blue from, because I'm pretty sure this blue wasn't in here. It was in another palette. I just don't remember which palette it was, because I bought all these when they were on sale for like $7, and then they went down like 6 and 5 because people weren't really vibing with them. But I'm like, I can understand, because when I first saw it, I was like, there's no way. Next, I have the Feral palette. So these are all the basic neutral boring shades I took out of the two Killer Purr palettes in order to have them more fun and colorful. So I just kept all these shades. That's why some of them look similar, because the Killer Purr had similar shades in both of them, like these two, and these two look somewhat similar. But I'm just holding on to it because first of all, I think the packaging is stunning. Second of all, I feel like these are still shades that can be used. Like if I was needed to do a look, I feel like I could still pull out this palette and make somewhat of a look. Because see, I have this deeper shade for the outer V. I have one of these I can put in the crease or in the outer V. And then I have these two shimmers for the lid if I had to do a rush look. Plus, like, since they have palettes that you can take out and move around like these other brands, it got thrown in this drawer. And then if they come out with another palette that I want to change the stuff on, I can, hopefully. I don't know though, because y'all notice they've been, what do you call it? They've been changing the palettes around now, so they have like circles instead of squares like they used to. So I'm wondering if I should even be keeping that, but you know, I am for now. So if y'all can see, my Gemini, my original, is broken. That's why I bought the bundle with the new one in it. So I took all these shades out of palettes that I wasn't necessarily feeling. I know, right? The greens there, you're shocked. I was shocked too, but it's because it has sequence in it is why it's here. So I took all the boring shades out of the palettes that I didn't like and wanted to make them more exciting and put it in here. So when I go to recreate my melt palettes now, I can reach in this palette and grab whatever I need, or take out some stuff and switch it around like I've been doing. So that's what that drawer is. Let me put some of these things back in the drawers, because honey, it's a lot. Is this his drawer? I feel like all these came out of this drawer. This is why I hate taking stuff out of the drawer, y'all, because sometimes I forget what drawer I had it in, and then I'm like, did you come from this drawer? I don't remember. You know, I think these were in the front, and the little ones were in the back. And then I had the, like crap, I don't remember how this drawer was organized. See, y'all, this be why I don't be wanting to touch stuff, because like, now I don't remember how I had this stuff in there. Now I'm over here like an old one, like, was this even here? Because some of these I feel like weren't here, and I'm just sticking them there anyway, because I'm like, you know, I can't be bothered. Oh well, stuff is just gonna go back wherever. Yeah, like I know for a fact these were the top, but for right now, while I'm filming, I don't have to keep going back at the end and putting all this away, so we just gonna put it away now. Okay. This is the last drawer we're going to go over for today. So let me take you down. like I'm Chris Brown. We're gonna take it down. Okay. Okay, I got it now. So I'm gonna just talk about the palettes in here. I'm not gonna go over like the super shocks and all like the liners or whatever, because I figure you don't care. If you want the eyeshadow palette collection video, then that's what I'm gonna show you, eyeshadow palettes, not all this other stuff. So this is the Makeup by Mario. What is this called? I think this is Rosy Glam. Yeah, this is the Rosy Glam one. I remember doing a video with this, and like this color was turning this weird color on me, and since that's the only matte in here, that's the only thing I can do with it. I was kind of like annoyed, because I'm like, the one matte turns to this weird color that doesn't look good on my skin tone. But I did like the shimmers in here, and plus I want to be able to compare it to his eyeshadows in the future that he comes out with, even though it seems like he's focusing more on complexion than eyeshadows, which I mean, as a makeup artist I can understand, but it's like, you know, in the makeup business I feel like a lot of times eyeshadow palettes are what sell, so maybe he should give us some more of those. I don't know, but y'all see I got my mini Metropolis. I ended up buying this when it came out initially, just because I didn't get Metropolis and she came back out with Metropolis, so I just leave this here so I can reference Metropolis if I need to. Plus it's one of the minis, so it's not like it's something I would necessarily miss. I don't really like this one, to be honest though, so if I had to get rid of one I wouldn't have a problem getting rid of this, just because like I don't feel like the color story does enough for me to be excited about it. But since I have it, we're gonna keep it, because I do refer to her a lot. Next I have the, what is it, Baby Retro. I bought this off somebody on Mercari, like I was telling y'all about. It only has like 3 little shades in it, and all of them are repeat shades from the bigger palette, so it wasn't necessarily a need. It's just, again, more of like being able to show something in Natasha Denona on camera when I have to refer to the brand. I keep a lot of the smaller ones here that I'm not really crazy about, instead of keeping them at home, so that's what this one's for. Plus I wanted to see if the formula was going to be the same on it, because it was only, I think, like $19 or something like that. Next I have the Baby Gold. I ended up getting the Baby Gold for free when I had bought something from her website. It was like, if you buy a certain amount from her website, they were giving this away for free. So I ended up getting this one for free. It was this one or the Glam for free. I don't remember which one. No, matter of fact, I think I bought the Gold, and then I ended up getting the Glam for free when I bought them off her website. Either way, again, this is another reference piece for me when I have to reference Natasha Denona. If I remember correctly, all of these are in her gold palette as well. Don't quote me though, I never actually truly researched that. Then we have the Mini Glam. So I got the Mini Glam, and I think the Mini Biba for free. I know a couple of these I got for free when I had purchased from her website, and then other ones I actually paid for. So the first two I showed you, I know I paid for, and I'm thinking these last two are ones I got for free. I don't own the Glam palette, so I don't know anything about it. That's another reason I kept this. But in all fairness, like, when am I really wearing these colors? We know I always talk crap about colors like this. It don't work for my skin tone, don't serve a purpose. I'm not a person who likes to put colors like these on the lid. Then this one is too light for the crease for me. The only thing that this is used for me is the shimmer for the lid or in the inner corner, or just for me to reference Natasha Denona in videos. But again, that's why I keep it, to be able to reference her in videos, because I've never actually used that palette at all. Last one, I have the Baby Biba palette. So again, I never bought the Biba palette. The color story of it wasn't exciting to me. It was just a neutral palette. I know she likes to do lots of those, but her neutrals are my neutrals, which is basically rose tones. This one is supposed to be more of a neutral palette, if you will. The brown doesn't seem like it'd be deep enough for my outer V. I had to put that in the crease. This would be one I have to put on the lid, and then this would be like an inner corner or something. So again, I just keep stuff like this for reference to put in videos. So when people talk about certain palettes from the brand I do have some of the colors from that palette, because I have the baby versions of it. Next I have the Truffle palette from Dose of Colors. I love Dose of Colors. They're one of the videos I did on brands that you sleeping on that you shouldn't be. So this is what it looks like. Hello, look at my sexy eyeshadow. You'll see the video for this eyeshadow before you see this video. Back to the video we're filming now. So yeah, I'm definitely what do you call it? I'm definitely feeling this palette when it comes to the purple side, and I appreciate the fact that she does a lot of cool tones, so at least it's like cool tone and more neutrals, browns. I don't like warm tone browns. I don't know what it is. I'm just not a fan of them, so I figured I would try this out, and it didn't let me down. I wish she would do more colorful stuff, but you know, like, she doesn't, and I just have to like accept that and move on. So I guess we'll do these. Revlon was next. So I have, what is this, the Clat bag. I saw Tina's Fancy Face with these, and I was like, and then Revlon had actually got the formula done in Italy, and I feel like they were trying to come for Tom Ford with this, because it's like, I feel like a lot of the color stories, and I did a whole video comparing them and putting them on the eyes. I feel like the color stories came for that, and since they were made in Italy, they were better quality than a lot of other drugstore eyeshadows. Now, no, Morgan Turner says she doesn't like them personally. I think they're just fine. I don't have any issue with them. They did a good enough job, especially being from the drugstore, but the fact that they're made in Italy was good to me. This is fully loaded. Again, I feel like it's trying to give us Tom Ford vibes with the 4 colors they chose. I don't know if they just picked the ones that he had discontinued that they were going to bring back to store, so that way people would buy from them as opposed to like him. But I feel like if you afford Tom Ford, you're not necessarily looking to Revlon for anything. This one is called Slight Flex. That's what she looks like. Now, I'm not saying any way these formulas are comparable. I'm just saying, since it is made in Italy and is the baked gelée, this is called the Big Bang. I feel like it does a good job. This one, I feel like it's supposed to be a dupe for African Violet. I have African Violet and a few other ones. I found a whole bunch of them at the Company Cosmetics store. That's how I ended up with all my Tom Ford quads. I don't ever pay full price for Tom Ford quads because I rarely if ever use my Tom Ford quads. Tom Ford quads just don't impress me personally, so I don't ever try to show them off or really use them that often. I'd rather stick to an eyeshadow palette. So this is the Choo Choo palette. Everybody was raving and talking about how wonderful this palette was, so I ended up I think I ended up getting it I think last year after they had relaunched it again in different fun packaging. But this is what it looks like. It's just like kind of neutrals with like a couple of pinks and a pop of silver that's supposed to make it unique. It's an okay color story. I just don't feel like, you know, the formula is giving or doing all of that, in my personal opinion. But, you know, I keep it just because I already paid for it and it's already here, and it's a good thing to reference when I do Vizzy art videos, because I do Vizzy art videos from time to time when they have something that interests me. But it's just rare they have something that interests me, I hate to say. Then we have the Garnet palette. Now, I did switch around my Garnet palette. Again, Vizzy art is one of those where you can switch out the shades with. So that's why there's no matte in here. I think there was like one neutrally toned matte that didn't work well for my skin tone in here. So I just popped in one of, I think it's one of these shades I added to this palette. I'm not 100% sure. But I added a shade to this palette and took it away from other ones so that I could have the matte from that palette. So that's what we're working with. Then I have this other Makeup by Mario quad. These are the ones he came out with later on with more neutrally toned. This is nude 3, so these are supposed to be the nude quads that work for every skin tone. Of course, I had to get the last one. This is the deepest one, so I would probably pair this with that Rosy Glam one, because at least with these tones, I know those tones will work for me. And then I could just use the shimmers in that palette, because I do like the shimmers in that palette more. But we know this isn't my color aesthetic at all. Because, I mean, it's called the nude, so it's not like I didn't know what I was getting into. It's just, you know, I wanted to see if he had improved on the formula from the first ones. So that was the purpose of buying that one. I have one Rare Beauty palette here and one Rare Beauty palette at home. So this is Magnetic Spirit, I believe. Yeah, Magnetic Spirit. This is the one I liked the least out of the two. I know Thomas Halbert did a gorgeous look with this palette. She killed it. But, okay, so stop filming when I was talking about Magnetic Spirit and how Thomas Halbert, she killed the eye look with this palette. I just wasn't necessarily crazy or impressed with it. I like this shade right here, but this is an all shimmer palette, so I still have to bring other stuff in. And then the shimmers and this one aren't as impressive to me as the Kinetic Energy one is, so I leave that one at home and I keep this one here. But that's okay, because I can use this for reference, and if she comes up with more shimmer palettes, then I'll use those. I don't like the big circle one she comes out with, so I've never actually bought any of those. So I have a couple of these small ColourPop palettes, so I figure I'll show you. I think this is Chocolate Mint or something like that. Sorry, this is called Waffle Cone. So here's what she looks like. These are actually quite good quality. I think these are $10 though, which I think is kind of high considering you only get 4 shades, and they usually like charge $18 for bigger ones. What are like the 9 pans like $18 or something like that? So I'm like, is it really good $10 just for these 4 shades? So I usually try to wait when these go on sale and then I'll buy them, or I'll buy them at Ulta with a coupon or something. Not that they're not good quality, but it's like when you're giving me way more shadows for less money, normally I don't see the purpose of that being a good deal for me. Just saying. So this one is called, it's called a Really Ruby. This is what she looks like on the inside. It's just a simple, quick quad look, if you will. You're supposed to, I guess, put this in the crease, put this in the outer V, put this on the lid, put this in the inner corner, and that's like the look for you. Or you can just do a 2-shadow look with each one, depending on what your skin tone is. Like, obviously, I'd have to use this one, but knowing me, I would just use the whole quad and rush out the door and go. So that's what that looks like. I'm not necessarily crazy about this color story. If I had one I had to let go, it would probably be that one. But I felt like that one could be a good alternative to that garnet palette I showed you all from Vivia. I think that's why I held on to it. And I did a battle of the with it, or did a underrated versus overrated, or my side chick. I did something with it and showed both of them. But next I have these, what is this, La Belle of the Ball. This is from who is it, I think it's supposed to be Animal Crossing. I just combined the purple palette and the green palette together. I wish I kept the Nook palette though. I liked the color story as far as the packaging a little bit better, and the little animal that was on it, but it's too late. I've given that to my cousins now with all the sequin shadows in there that came with it that I didn't like, or was it glitters? I think it was glitters or sequin shadows. Either way, I like the color story of this one a whole lot better. I just feel like it would pop better on the green packaging, but it's fine. I like the shadows and the formula of the shadows in there, so that's how I ended up keeping it. Same thing with these Hello Kitty ones. Cute little quick monochromatic moment if I'm in a rush. Got this cute little blue palette here. And then I have my little cherry, what is this? Cherry Sweet palette here. I like the little color story on this one as well. I didn't change any colors of either one of these. I just changed it in the Nook palette from the Animal Crossing set. So let's get into my little small eyeshadow palettes from e.l.f. because it's a few little eyeshadow palettes in here from e.l.f. This is Berry Cute, or Bad Berry. Sorry, Berry Bad. I feel like it looks really similar to that other one I have from ColourPop, but I'm going to just go ahead and keep both because it's good to have alternatives to show. Plus, the ColourPop one might not be here forever. And then I could be like, if you liked the ColourPop one, then you can go ahead and get this one instead. So that's why I ended up keeping this, because I was actually going to declutter this one and just keep ColourPop. But then I was like, ColourPop always discontinues stuff. e.l.f. is keeping these around. It's their better eyeshadow formula. So that's how it got to stay. So eventually the ColourPop might go. This is the one Kathleen likes, and everybody was raving about, was claiming it's just as good as Natasha Denona. And I'm like, stop telling these lies. This is the one in Cream and Sugar that she was raving about all the time. I do like the brown in this one, which is why I ended up keeping it, because obviously that shade isn't working for me. And the shimmers are just okay. They're not exceptional. The one I feel like works better for skin tones of people my color is this one here, Truffle. So I like the color of this one better, but I feel like that's a good combination one for me. I don't like the fact that this black has shimmer in it, but I can just not use it and use this darker brown and these shades, and then use the lighter shades in the sugar Scarlet Cream and Sugar one I just showed you to make a look. So it's not too big a deal, but like, you know, you only got one super deep shade, and then you thought to put black shimmer in it. That always irritates me. Next I have this Catrice 5 in a Box eyeshadow palette. What is the name of this one? This one is called Modern Smoky Look. So I feel like this one is supposed to be like duping the Natasha Denona 5 pan palette, just because of the way they set it up and all that. But I think it did an okay job for a drugstore palette, but Catrice isn't sold at Ulta anymore, so that's another reason I'm holding on to it, because I wish I could have got more of these when they came up with more colors. But I think you can only buy Catrice on Amazon now, or from their website, so I'm just gonna hold on to this one and call it a day. And if they come out with any more that are actually truly interesting to me, then I'll, you know, grab them from their website, I guess. Next I have the Cookies and Dream palette. I actually really like this palette. I did an eye look with it, and you all really liked it. I had used like this blue right here and this blue right here, and then I think I used like another blue palette for like my blue mattes, but it turned out really nice. I'm not necessarily crazy about the color story as a whole, because again, like the darkest shade is a shimmer shade, and then this brown isn't doing that much for me. But since I don't have that many e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes that I feel like have that great quality, I'm gonna go ahead and hold on to it. I love how I'm saying I'm holding on to all the stuff like this is supposed to be some color declutter video. I never said it was a declutter video, so why I'm doing that, I don't know. Oh, I found another ColourPop little small pan. I forgot the name of this one. Strawberry something. Strawberry Sweet. So what it looks like. So as you can see, they just changed the way they set up the palette, because they got the two shimmers on this side and two mattes on this side, instead of the last time the way they had it, where it was like the two shimmers at the top and two mattes at the bottom. But you know, it's a nice palette. It does a cute little job or whatever. I feel like it's a good companion palette for that cherry one I showed you from. I showed you with the Hello Kitty stuff in it. I feel like they could be good companion palettes. or maybe a 5 brands do themselves situation. But knowing me, I already did that video and I just, you know, forgot that I did. So there's that. I have this Roots palette from, I'm trying to remember the name of this brand. Crap, what is the name of this brand? But like it came busted bogusly. Like look at how busted both the shimmer shades are. I was like, oh good god. So I did a look with it anyway, just because like the shimmers are so stunning, but it was really like difficult to do a look with it when, you know, that happened. I have a couple more from the brand though. I brought like a whole little series, like their Tokyo collection. I bought all 3 of them, and I like all 3 of the color stories. I just left one at home because I like it more than other ones. But again, that shadow broke, but it looks stunning. I'm trying to remember the name of this brand, and it's not on the packaging, so that's not helping. Or is it on here? And I just don't see it. No, I don't. Oh yeah, Unique Beauty. That was the name of the brand. So it is on the packaging. It's just written really small. Then I have Volume 2. Volume 2 is probably like my favorite one that I left here. Because, I mean, look at this color story. That is gorgeous. They have really nice shimmers. And their mattes are pretty nice, too. It's just they're brand in a foreign country. And it takes a really long time to get their product. So, that's why I, you know, don't have that much from them. And haven't really talked about them too much. Because, it's like, I follow them on Instagram. And they haven't come up with anything in a while. So, I have the Blueprint palette and the Blueprint stack. Because the Blueprint stack came out before the Blueprint palette. But some people's shadows are breaking on them. Like, these 2 at the top were breaking on people. Sorry, let me hold it where you can see it. These 2 at the top were like breaking on people, and so it was making people mad. So I don't know if that's why they stopped making the stacks, but here's some of the other colors. Like then blue is giving, and then they have these like neutrally type tones, and then I think they had like a brown matte in this shimmer. So I think the brown matte was supposed to be like your transition shade, and then the blue was supposed to be your deep outer V shade, and then, you know, the shimmers you just pick what you want to put on the lid for what eye look you want to do. So I have that one. I have the Baby Girl stack and some other stacks. I'm trying to remember what stack it is. I think, what stack is this? This is the Dark Matter stack. So of course it comes with this deep black shade. Then I have this shade I took out of another palette I gave my cousins instead. Then the red that comes with it. And then that shade, because they had like a bone white type shade, and obviously if I complain about those shades, the last thing I want is that in my stack, because it doesn't have any purpose in my stack. And then this should be the Shapeshifter stack. Now this, I think it is. No, this is the crap, what is the name of this? The Lovesick stack. So we start off with this fun shimmery shade right here, then this red shade, then this unique bluish shade, and then this weird shade. So they had some fun, weird, colorful stacks. I wish this year they would just redo all of the palettes that they had in stacks. I mean, all the stacks they had in palettes. That would be awesome. Especially the what is it? The Shapeshifter one. That's the one I feel like they could like redeem themselves with when it comes to all the stuff they got going on right now. Because it's like they don't have a lot of fun colors going on to me lately. It's like, and if they do, it's like repetitively the same colors that they've used a whole bunch of times. So I'm hoping that they will just go ahead and, you know, break us off with some more fun stuff, if you will. Well, I think I pushed some of this stuff too far up, and that's why stuff isn't fitting the way it's supposed to. Yeah, because those eyeliners aren't supposed to be up here. Get out of this drawer. But those are the eyeshadow palettes I had to show you today, girl. I guess we can go over some of these Super Shocks really quick. These are just the ones from the Peep collection. So I got the purple, I got the lavender Peep, I got the pink Peep, got the orange Peep. All of mine didn't come with stickers on the back, which is weird. Because see, there's no white Peep sticker on the back of here. I don't know what's going on there. There's the blue Peep. Did the green one have one, or was it the yellow one didn't have one? Here's the green Peep. And then the yellow one. So those are the majority of singles I have. I still have one from the My Little Pony collection that I never used. This is Sunbeam. I have a Surratt little set right there that I didn't really plan on showing. This is one of the Lime Crime lid shades. I have Majestic. It is gorgeous. Like, y'all know this is my type of shade, the bluish purple type shade. It's sexy. I needed it, even though we both know I didn't. But it was pretty, and I was going to have it because, you know, I could. Then we have the shade Float from Urban Decay when they had these on sale at 21 Days of Beauty. I went ahead and grabbed a couple of them because, you know, couldn't help myself. But yeah, those are all of the eyeshadow palettes I have to show you today. I'm going to be putting all my stuff away. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and part 2 will be coming to you soon of me showing off the drawers with the bigger palettes in it, because that's basically what it's about to come down to. We're going to have the bigger palettes come up next. I'm kind of concerned about that just because I hate having to reorganize drawers, and I'm standing here organizing these drawers now just on the small ones. So I can only imagine having to pull all the stuff out from those and then putting it back together. Like, it's about to be a whole disaster that I don't want to do. But, you know, I try to give you content that you ask for, and since every year somebody asks for this video, that's how every year you get this video. So I'ma just organize, but I will catch you all in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.